Somebody asked me earlier about microphones. Why I'm using, was that you, Steve? A handheld mic. I love handheld mics because you don't always have, especially when you're coming up through the ranks, a guy like Ian around to help you out, see? So if you have a clip-on microphone and the sound isn't right, you're pulling it up and down your lapel, and you can't change the volume easily. There's been so many instances you go to the bathroom and it's still hot, and people hear that happening. And if you can't clear your throat because it goes through, I mean, you can't whisper to somebody off stage how you hate the audience, and anything like that. So a handheld is beautiful because I can adjust. Hello.
Hey, Tom.
Yes.
Handhelds sound better, too.
And they sound better because there's a bigger diaphragm in it, right?
Yeah, much better.
Yeah,
If you
better.
compare the sound of a... Here, let's do
Okay.
a little demo.
All right, there we go. Remember, this is the record and grow rich guy.
Check. Okay, this is what a lav mic sounds like. This is what a handheld sounds like.
See, much more
Do you hear
rich.
it sounds a lot better? There's more bass. The lav mic sounds a little bit more thin. Check, test, 1, 2.
Mhm.
It's okay, but it's not like talking through a handheld.
Yeah, and Judy, give her a mic while she's doing it. And then also, I can interview people. See, I can, oh, is that what you're going to say? Well, go ahead.
You got it right there, because sometimes somebody in the audience will be doing something so fantastic that right at that moment, even though it's not planned, it's spontaneous, and you want to run out and talk to them, you can have more control because they can hear you without having to talk into your chest, so to speak, if you're wearing a lavalier. And also, if you're going to be interviewing anybody, the tendency is that they want to grab the mic, but it gives you more control.
Yeah.
So you hold it, and then I say, what is your name? Olga. Thank you, Olga. Thanks.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful tips. Yeah, thank you, Judy. Star Power Lady, she knows how to do it, how to look good all the time. And especially if you're low budget and you have one microphone, it's so pitiful to start off a speech and the one person's holding the tip of a lavalier and holding the thing in their hand, and then they got to give it to the presenter who comes up and then has to fool around with it for 5 minutes to get it on, ruins the opening. See, so this is an easy handoff. In fact, I'll tell people that are introducing me, okay, when you get on introducing me, stage right, I'm going to shake hands with you, you hand it to me, I'm going to thank you, blah, just to get things smooth. But it's just boom, 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 makes a nice opening instead of, pitiful. Yes, sir. Feedback, well, you try to stay away. A lot of the hotels have the speakers up there, and see, feedback happens when the sound from there goes into the mic, which goes into there, which makes a loop and squealing and all that. And so you test it out ahead of time and make sure you don't walk under those. And now with this case, with these, I try to, when I go over there, I put my finger here, first of all, because I don't want to lose my hearing, and I'm looking at Ian to shut this mic off when I walk in front of it. So you stay away from those. Yes?
Couple of comments on that. An easy way to deal with feedback is turn the volume of the sound system down a little bit, and that'll just make the feedback come down. The other thing is when you're using a handheld mic, if it gets too far away from your mouth, the sound person has to turn the volume up. And what happens when they turn the volume up of this microphone is it makes like more of a possibility for you to get feedback. So one way to avoid it is you keep the mic up here by your mouth, and then the sound person turns the mic volume down, and there's less chance for feedback. Does that make sense?
Yeah. All
so
those,
if
great.
your mic's too far away from your mouth, and you're talking like this, and you're standing there when you talk, it's down by your waist, the sound person's gonna have to turn it up. You're gonna get feedback. So keep the mic next to your mouth. Do not walk near the speakers. If you're about to go on stage, I see this all the time, especially when you're wearing a lav mic. The speaker's like
Hold your ears.
waiting to get introduced, right? And they'll stand right here. Watch this.
Yeah, see?
So they'll stand right here, and they're wearing a lav, and the sound guys back there are just freaking out.
And their ears are bleeding. Yeah.
So you've got to cut the volume to the speaker and wait for them to walk on stage and then turn it back on. It's like the best thing to do is just stand a few feet away from the speaker, like over here. And then if you're having a handheld, you turn it away from your mouth like this as you walk up, and then put it back up when you walk on stage. Got it?
Beautiful, beautiful. See? Yeah, let's hear it for Ian. Record and grow rich. Make sure you check it out before you get out of here. This is all great stuff. Also, another thing about mics, notice this shotgun mic here by the speaker. This is a very directional microphone, and this is one of the worst things I see on speaker demos is, and especially if you're using the clip-on mics, because they're designed to cut out everything out here. And so you say something funny. Let's say it's, your meeting planner is going to hear a recording of you. You say something funny. This cuts out the audience, and it sounds like you bombed. See, so whenever you're doing demo materials, mic the audience. Get the audience mic'd. And that way it sounds good. Yeah.
You mic the audience, and then you run that to a separate track on the recorder. So there's multiple tracks back here. Then when you're editing your video together later, and you got to hear the audience applause, you take that audio from that other track and you put it in, and you hear everybody clapping, and at the same time you take the video from the second camera, and then it cuts to the audience and you hear the applause, and then it goes back to you up there. And one other thing, when you're wearing a lavalier microphone and there's somebody else wearing a lavalier microphone, don't go up to them on stage and hug them, because what'll happen is instant feedback. It'll just go, woo! Right? So if you gotta hug them from the side or something, but don't have your mic be next to their mic, because it'll just be a disaster.
Yeah, and for guys, I mean, I go, even without mics, I go up and hug a woman and she screams. You know, so, call security. Yeah. That's the old joke is, what do women want? Well, it's security, because that's what they scream every time I come up near them in the bar or something, you know.